friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. So today I'm doing a video that I wanted to do for such a long time. It just kept getting pushed further and further down my to film list, but finally I'm doing it. I'm doing the indie drugstore or high-end tag. I believe this was started from Georgia Harris and LS. If that is wrong, I will correct myself down in the description box, but otherwise their videos will be down there regardless. But if there's somebody else that started it, I will have that down there as well. But basically this is a tag where you go through each of the categories in your makeup routine and just kind of determine whether you prefer as a whole indie, drugstore, or high-end for that specific product. I feel like I'm gonna say indie for most of it, but I could be wrong. I haven't really thought this through. I did write down the steps in my makeup routine so I wouldn't forget anything, but I haven't really figured out what I prefer. Also, some of the brands I might talk about, I might not be 100% accurate if they're still considered indie or not. It's kind of a gray area sometimes, and I tried to Google it, but I didn't always find an answer. But I will just discuss that as we get closer to those moments. So yeah. Let's just go through this. I'm excited about doing this tag. The first thing I always do is my brows. It doesn't matter, and I don't do too much to them. I have a tinted brow gel and then a clear brow gel that goes over top of it, but the most important part for me is a tinted brow gel that has fibers in it to help kind of fill them in. I don't like to put a lot of effort or time into my brows. I'm over it. I'm over pomades and things like that. But even with using gels now and using pomades then, I've always geared towards high-end. Been using Anastasia for a long time. Back before Kat Von D was problematic, I used the brow pomade from her, and now I'm back to Anastasia again for the brow gel. I actually use a Sigma one right now because Bridget gave it to me, and I think they're probably considered high-end. But I've also used the Kush brow gel. I'm dying to try the Glossier one, so I definitely gravitate towards high-end when it comes to my brows. The only thing drugstore I use for my brows, or lower end, I think ColourPop I might put in the drugstore category because I think they have a parent company, is my clear brow gel. I don't really care where that one's from as long as it holds them together, but for the most part high end is definitely where I go for that one. Next is primer. This one's really hard because for the longest time my favorites were like the Becca backlight and first light priming filters. I really liked those, but now I'm really into the Elle Poreless Putty Primer. And I feel like for the most part, I don't believe in primers that much. I just like something hydrating and dewy. The e.l.f. one is the first primer that isn't hydrating and dewy that I've loved. I don't know. I think I might say drugstore for that one because I've liked a lot of NYX ones that are super hydrating. I'm gonna go with drugstore. I think that's a safe bet. For foundation, I have tried and loved so many different foundations from drugstore to high-end. I think I'm gonna give it to high-end though, because when I think of my absolute favorite foundations, what comes to mind are the new Anastasia Luminous foundation, for instance, or the Becca Aqua Luminous foundation. I love that one, and I also love the Too Faced Born This Way. There's a couple drugstore ones I really care for, like the ColourPop Stick foundation or I'm thinking of another one, but I can't remember right now. There's some more. But when it comes to my actual favorites, they're definitely high-end, which stinks because I hate spending money on foundation, but it is what it is. They're the best for me. All right, concealer. I don't really know what to answer for this one because I still like the Tarte Shape Tape. I'll only buy it if I can get a big discount on it. I love the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define and the Conceal and Hydrate. I love the new Juvia's Place one. Is Juvia's Place considered indie or drugstore? I don't know. Ugh, that's really hard. But I feel like if I have to pick something, maybe I'll say drugstore because I don't know for sure if Juvia's Place is considered indie. For the sake of this video, I'm going to put Juvia's Place in the drugstore category. I'm gonna Google it. According to Google, it just has one brand owner, so I don't think they're considered anything but indie, so I guess I will keep them in the indie category. I don't know. I'm just gonna say drugstore because I really like my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. The Juvia's Place might be my new favorite, but I haven't been using it as long, and with the Makeup Revolution I have two options. I'm gonna say drugstore for that one. All right, I'm just gonna go in my actual routine, so we're still gonna stay with cream products. We're gonna go to cream bronzer now. I've pretty much only used the Milk Makeup Baked Bronzing Stick for the longest time. I've also drifted into one of the Anastasia foundation sticks for cream contour, so I'm gonna say high-end for that as well, just because I haven't really used anything else for cream bronzer. Those are all I've tried, and I love them. For cream blush, that one's hard. because I love one of my Milk makeup sticks. I have a NYX stick I like. Glossier, I have a product I like. Lime Crime. I don't know if they're considered indie or high-end. I'm gonna assume, I don't think they're a single owner anymore. I feel like they have a bigger company that owns them, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna put Lime Crime in the high-end category, just from this point forward. That's one I couldn't look up and I couldn't find an answer to. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I might have to give this one to Drugstore. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it to Drugstore just because there's so many ColourPop sticks and I love them, that formula so much. I really like the NYX ones I've tried. I think I'm gonna give it to Drugstore, but that one's really hard because I feel like it's evenly split amongst the 3 categories. This whole video is just gonna be me sitting here struggling to answer these questions because I like so many things. For powder, this one's tough too, but I think I might give it to Drugstore. Because my favorite, see, this is another hard one too. I was gonna say Drugstore, but I don't know because I love the Cover FX powder, that's high end. I love the ColourPop powder, that's Drugstore. And I love the Juvia's Place powder, and that's indie. Those are literally my 3 favorites, and they're all in a different category. I guess if I only had to pick one though, I would probably pick Juvia's because I like the amount you get and I like the price. And I'd also be willing to try like Jeffree Star's powder or even the Menagerie Cosmetics powder when that comes out. So I'm gonna say indie for that one. Yes. Moving on to regular bronzer, I'm going to give it to high end. I don't really own too many bronzers, but the ones I own are like Becca's Bali Sands, the Too Faced Chocolate something bronzer. I want that Fenty one really bad. So I'm gonna give it to high end. I haven't really experimented with that many bronzers otherwise, and I love the ones that I have. Moving on to blush, I think I'm gonna give this one to indie because I love my Beauty Bakery blushes. I love my Juvia's Place blushes. There is construction going on outside suddenly. If you can hear it, I'm not sorry because I can't control it. Oh, it's really hard to pick, but I think I'm just gonna give it to indie because I love my Juvia's Place blushes so much, and I'm getting my Likely Makeup Clown Blush palette in the mail any day now, and I have a feeling I'm gonna desperately love that one. So I'm gonna give it to indie for now. I think that's a safe bet. Next, for highlights, I'm gonna have to give this one to Drugstore because I love the ColourPop highlights. I love the Pixie highlights. I really enjoy some of my NYX highlights. I think those might be the only ones though, because everything else I have is kind of scattered amongst random indie ones and random high-end ones. But I feel like some of my favorite ones are Drugstore. I love the Give Me Glow highlights with my whole heart, but I feel like the category of Drugstore highlights is a little broader for me, so I think I'm gonna give it to that one. But that's another hard one. Next, for setting spray, I think I'm gonna give it to Drugstore because I love the Pixie Glow Mists. I've tried ones from Elle I like, I've tried ones from NYX I like. I'm not too picky as long as it just gives me a dewy finish. I haven't really tried any that are indie besides the Apocalyptic Beauty, and I like some of my high-end ones that I've tried, but I'm also not willing to spend the money on them anymore, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna give it to Drugstore for that. Okay, moving on to eyes. We're done with face. Next is eye primer, and I've switched between the Smashbox lid primer and the Sigma eyeshadow base, and I'm pretty sure Sigma's considered high-end. But even if they're not, I'm still gonna say high-end because I love the Smashbox one a little bit more. I feel like my eyeshadow primer is very important to me as far as what I use and what I like, so I'm gonna give it to high-end for that one. I'm willing to spend money on it. For eyeshadows, this is a no-brainer. It's indie for sure. Strobe Cosmetics, Menagerie, Juvia's Place, Jeffree Star's, Ace Beauté. I could go on and on and on. Give Me Glow, Melt Cosmetics. I love so many indie eyeshadows. I want to try so many more so badly, but they easily take the crown for me. Drugstore doesn't have anything on them. High-end sure doesn't have anything on them either. Indie eyeshadows are superior forever. For liquid liner and for eye pencils, I guess I'll just lump them together. I'm going to say Drugstore because my favorite brands for those are ColourPop, NYX, LA Girl. I think that's pretty much all I own. I have a couple Urban Decay ones, but not enough for me to be like, they are my favorite. I like my cheaper ones a lot more. Very content with saying Drugstore for that one. For mascara, I literally don't care as long as it doesn't transfer on my skin throughout the day because I wear false lashes almost every day anyways. So I'm just gonna say Drugstore. Whatever's cheap and cruelty-free is all I care about. So yeah, probably Drugstore. Like, I liked the Essence one, it was fine. I've tried NYX ones that were fine, Pixie, all that kind of stuff. I like the Milk Makeup Kush mascara a lot, but not enough for me to justify like buying it every single time I need a new mascara. For lashes, definitely Indie. I love Bold Face Makeup in Rouge and Rogue the most. Definitely Sugar Pill as well. I think they're still considered Indie. I like their lashes a lot. It can't be anything else. I love my Indie lashes. Some of the drugstore ones are just too plasticky looking, and a lot of high-end ones are made from mink, and I'm not down with that. So yeah, Indie is where it's at. And finally, the very last category is lips, and I have to give it to Indie, I think. It just depends on what things are categorized as, but I think for the most part, Indie. I love my Give Me Glow lip products. I love my glosses from Sugar Pill. I love my glosses and plushies from Lime Crime, which I'm still not sure if they're considered Indie or high-end, but still. I love my Black Moon Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. I love my Menagerie liquid lipsticks. I love my Dose of Colors lip products, which I don't know if they're considered Indie still or if they are high-end either, but I feel like as a general rule, I'm happiest with my Indie lip products. Whew. So yeah, that was a lot of talking. I don't feel like this is gonna be a very long video though, because it's to the point, you know what I mean? I feel like it was probably a good even divide of Indie and drugstore for what I prefer. Not too many things were high-end, which I figured. I've grown to be pretty cheap with my makeup lately. Like, I'll spend money on certain things, but I will not go out of my way to buy high-end for everything. I'm just not about that life, and I don't think it's necessary. But I didn't think I would have as many drugstore things as I did, just because there aren't that many cruelty-free drugstore options, but apparently I've found things that I love. Love my indie stuff, love my affordable stuff. I'm about it. I would love to hear your thoughts and your answers. If you have a channel, I tag you to do this. Let me know when you do it so I can watch it. And otherwise, just leave your answers down below. Let's chat in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with things I said? I don't want there to be a huge debate on what is considered indie and what's not. At this point, it doesn't matter. I've already done the video, so I don't need a million people telling me this is actually indie, this is actually high-end. Like, just let it be, okay? I don't need to be corrected 100 times. I tried my best to do my research. I just couldn't always find answers. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe. I post here most days as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.